Hey, what's up traders, this is Dave from the Hyro, and in this video I'm going to show you the CLEO platform, which is another platform from the HyroTrader crypto prop firm. I've been testing it for last couple days and I must say that I really love it because it's kind of reminding me a MetaTrader functions, and for people who came from the MetaTrader and from the Forex old school like me, its simplicity is really powerful. Also, it's much easier to connect it with your HyroTrader crypto challenge because you don't have to use API and you connect it straight in it. And also you can easily switch between the accounts without changing the API or using another browser, right? So I will show you everything in this video, so stick with me because this platform has really amazing features for the risk management, where you can split profits, losses and automatic partial profits. And I really love these functions, so stick with me, we will check them out. Okay, so right now we are here in my portal and setup is very easy. I'm going to click to setup challenge and here I will choose a CLEO, right? So I click on it, I confirm the platform and that's it. From here I click go to the CLEO, I click into this link. And that's it. Right now we are in the platform and we can see some trades which I've been testing yesterday when I've been playing with this platform, right? So we can see here in the right corner, I will show you straight away, I can switch between the accounts, right? So this is a testing account and here we will be playing with the functions and I will show you and explain you everything what we can do in here. I'm going to close these trades, right? So we can start from the beginning and the scratch, right? So charting is quite intuitive. I like it. It's very similar to the trading view charting in the ByBit or also in the trading view. But however, even in the ByBit, I personally don't use the charting in the exchange. I like to have everything on my personal trading view where it is a little bit better and I have all the pairs, right? I have it in the cloud and I can simply log in to here and be doing the things on the charts without being worried to click something and open the trade, right? So that's what I'm doing for the security and I always just execute in the platform. But still you have the drawing tools in here, so very simple for the using. You have most of the drawing tools in here, same like in the trading view or same like in the ByBit, right? You can obviously choose between the time frames. You can also create your own custom time frame by just choosing the time frame you want to. You can set up, for example, days, and you can set your 3 days time frame, etc. You can use many of them, right? Here on the bottom we have all the informations we need and I really like it as it is on the one place, right? So in the top we have the positions, open positions, pending orders, history of the positions, right? Corrupted positions, it's probably those who've been somehow not executed or closed, right? Here on the bottom we can see the balance, right? Equity, used margin, free margin and the total P&L of the open trades, right? If you switch here, you can see the balance, some statistic of your trades, right? And the calendar, which is kind of as a trading journal. So you can see your journal of your trades when you've been opening them, how they end up, right? So it's really helpful if you running your journal, which you should as a trader. This gives you the information if you didn't write them exactly right after the trade into your journal, right? All right, so right now let's have a look into this side panel on the right side. And if I click into this first icon, it will open a order panel where I will be opening a trades. Then second thing is a position management. So once I have open position, which I will show you in a second, I can manage them from here. Next one is your watch list, right? So you can see I have all my pairs in here and I can add some more. And here is a many trades. And as you can see, it's the source from the Binance, right? So we basically have a Binance data feed. And if I want to add, let's say, link, I simply click on it. You can see a link is in here, right? So it just switched me into the chart. And it's really quick and I like how responsive it is, right? Here I can click to the asset info, right? So I'm on the link and here is all the information about a link. Next one is a positions defaults. I really like this, and if you are a scalper, you will love it, because in here you can set up your default for the position. So let's say you do not have to care about your risk. You can set up your initial risk from the balance or from the current balance, right? So it's perfect. You don't have to calculate your position. It will always be opening you 0.5% risk, and you can change that obviously to the 1%, 2%, 3%. But in my opinion, if we are talking about a crypto prop trading, I would personally don't risk more than 0.5% per trade, right? Maybe some of you thinking 1%, but think about it. You have 10% maximum loss. With 1%, you will be betting your whole challenge to the just 10 trades, right? And yeah, if you are very accurate, it could work, but sometimes there will be, and always will be for every trader, the period where simply it will not work for you, and using the smaller risk or dynamic risk management, as I have explained in the different videos, will simply save you. Okay, so right now let's check the side panel on the right side, and I start with this first icon, which is an order panel, right? It's this. In here, I will be opening and new trades and setting up stop losses, targets, etc, etc. Right now we will go through all these steps, and then I will explain one by one, right? Second one is a position management. Once I have opened positions, I can manage them and manipulate from here. Next one is the watch list. Simply we can see all the pairs, right? I like that I can simply move them like that, right? So for example, if I have some potential analysis, potential trade on Solana, I will move it to the top, right? Then I got another trade on the Litecoin, I move it on the top, right? So I'm always kind of like organized, and I don't lose my ideas in the big watch list, right? Here in this plus, I can add whatever I want to, and as you can see, by clicking this plus, right, I add it. It's a data source from the Binance. Next one is information, right? So it's an asset info. So right now I'm on the link, and here is all the informations I need to know about a link, right? If I click in here, I can set up a default positions. If you are scalper, or if you have problem with calculating risk management, you will love this, because in here you can set up the default risk for every position you will open without complicated calculating of the position size. So I can set up, let's say 0.5%, 2%, 3%, or whatever percent. I personally suggest not to use more than 0.5%. But it's just my approach. Many people are using 1%. In my opinion, it's a little bit too much, because if we can risk maximum 10% of the account, you are actually betting everything on just 10 trades, right? It's same like on your personal account, you betting everything to the just 10 trades, you would be opening 10% risk per trade. You probably wouldn't do that, right? Anyway, then we can also set up our default target, right? Based on the risk multiple, right? So it could be 2R, 3R, 4R, whatever you want to. It's really nice if you are a scalper and you need to do quick action without thinking about these things, right? Then we have the strategy checklist and position checklist, not available if there is not enough data at this moment. And then shortcuts. So I can use a lot of shortcuts. I personally don't use them. You can go through that by yourself, right? So I'm closing this thing and I'm going back to the order panel, and this is really amazing. Okay, so right now we are here on this link, and let's say without any price action or analysis, or you know what, actually I like this setup here on the SUI, right? It's a little bit missing out, but anyway, let's say that we want to open a trade on a SUI, right? So what I'm going to do, simply I'm going to the watch list, I'm going to find a SUI, so I'm going to write a SUI in here. You can see I got it, SUI USDT, and I am on the chart right now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to draw my levels, and what is it? It's this, because I like this order block, right? Or the demand zone, depends on what you like to use, right? And I also like this thing in here, which is this CLS range for me, and it's defined setup for me, right? So it's on the weekly, taking liquidity in here, right? And I'm going lower time frame, and my setup right now would be a model number 1, which is basically simple thing. I'm targeting 50% of this range, right? It's a kind of a swing trade, and I want to show you right now what I really love in here, right? So I got SUI, I got everything what I got in here, right? And let's go into this panel. I can close watch list, right? And I want to open a trade, and I want to target all this way up, right? So what I'm going to do, simple, I'm going to click buy in here, and you see it gives me these options where I can manipulate all these things, right? So I can of course go buy with the market, which means that I will open the trade on the current market position. So another thing what I have to do is to fill how much I want to buy, right? So let's say 10. Don't overcomplicate it with the risk management right now. So let's say 10, right? And if I want to buy, enter with the market at this moment, I will click the buy here on the bottom, and it will open 10 positions for me, right? But what I can do also is I can set up, of course, the stop loss simply by dragging it where I want to. And right now, let me show you something, right? I can set up one stop loss here, right? So if this position, this 10 SUI and price start to go against me, I can close half in here, and then I can set up another stop loss, right? And another stop loss, and I can actually close the partials and reduce my loss, right? What I can do in here, I'm setting it, and I can simply click a split, and it will split into 3 positions, right? Then in here, I can see it, how much it will be closing on each position, right? It's split evenly, so it's going to be 3.3, right? And it will be closing my loss like that, right? Nice advantage. Now I can also do same with the targets, right? So I can, let's say, take one scalp, another trade a little bit higher, right? And then I can leave the rest, for example, like that, above these highs. I click to split, and that's it, right? And if I want to enter right now, I simply click buy, boom, that's it. And I got my position, right? Now I will see it down here. I go to the positions, right? And I can see my position, sorry, here, open positions. And I can see my position in here, right? What I really like in here is that if I have already some open position, I can actually add some another one. But let's say I have opened 10 SUI in here, which is really small risk on this 50,000 account. And if the price drops a little bit lower, I want to build a better average positions for that, right? So what I can do, again, I'm going to click buy. It will give me this thing, right? And you can see here is a market, right? I can click here for the limit and set up the price, right? Or the stop, which would be like a breakout to the top, right? But what I can actually do, let me show you. If I just click here and I drag it and drop it, this buy, right? So look, if I go above the price, it's doing a stop. You see, it's a stop. So it would be a buy stop. If I'm on the price, which would be difficult for me now to put it exactly to the price. Anyway, if I go below, around the price it would be a market, but if I go below it would be a limit, right? So what I can set up in here is this. Look, I can set up here another buy limit, and if the price drops lower, right, let's say to here, to the 2.24, I can add another 20 SUI into my exposure of the trade, right? And I can set them very different targets, which is actually amazing. I'm going to set up a targets, and again, I can set up take profit 1, take profit 2, right? Take profit 3, and take profit 4. I have this limit in here, and I can set up the stop loss, different one in here. Right, of course I need to click split and split in here, and I click place buy limit, right? It can look a little bit like a mess, right? But this is really amazing how you can split your positions and be taking the partial profits, because if you aware from your trailing drawdown, which is calculated from the open profit, this can protect you from that, right? So obviously, maybe you will not trade this way, but I just wanted to show you this function. I personally like it, and I think I will adjust that for my personal strategy, right? Right now, let's check this another button in here, which is for the manipulating the open position, right? So if you can see, we are in here, and I'm going to select this position, right? And I can adjust it in here, right? So we can see we have a few targets in here, and I can simply switch how much I will close on each target, right? It doesn't allow me to move a little bit more, because what I need to do first, I need to reduce somewhere so I can add on another one, because we have the one position, and you can see it's a 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, right? So you need to adjust that before you opening that. So I can move it, and I can reduce how much I want to close on each position, right, and play with that, right? So basically you can for example close the smaller part on the beginning, then bigger part, and bigger part, right? So it really gives you a lot of functions and flexibility with your risk management and how you gonna close your position, right? So it's really necessary to a little bit play with that. I suggest you that if you do that on your challenge, use really smallest positions as possible, maybe some cents, right, to try to play with it. But I must say, I love it. I really love this. All right, so let's go to another thing, which is actually the watch list. We have seen it, and then we have this information. We've seen it also. All right, so this is it, basically, right? We can see it's just a few things, which is in here, nothing overcomplicated, right? You don't have to think about if you're gonna open the USDC, USDT, right? Not too much things as on the ByBit. But what I want to show you in here, information about your positions, right? So once you trade on your funded account, right, this is actually not implemented into the challenge. This is where the Hyro lets you risk a little bit more, so the passing the challenges is easier, right? But once you start trade on the funded account, on the real money, they obviously want us to keep the risk low and don't to overexposure ourselves, right? Because it's their capital, right? I understand that. So let's look in here in the details, right? And I want to show you two very important numbers, right? And why I'm showing you them, right? So first, let's go back to the Hyro portal. And in here, if I click show details, and you can see that on every day of your challenge, you can see in here on the top the rules, right? And if you compare the rules with the challenge, where is it a little bit easier with this risk management, and then with the live account, you will see this maximum exposure, right? So trader may only use up to 25% of the initial balance as a margin, right? So why they want us not to overexpose it? Because they don't want us to gamble, right? When some big crash can come, it would cost them a lot of money. So what does it mean? 25% of the initial balance for the margin of the all positions, right? And it's nice in this platform because in here I can see in these details margin for my trade, right? Here used margin, it's 2, right? I opened obviously a very small position, so it's just a $2, right? Then if you open bit more positions, normally in the ByBit you have to calculate that. And in here, it's beautiful that I can see this used margin, and it's actually counting all my positions together. So if this is 50K account, my used margin should not be bigger than 25%, which is 12,500. I should not exceed this number, right? And the second thing, which is in here, is that the cumulative open positions value should not exceed twice combined the account balance, right? And it's actually this number, which is a open quantity, and you can see in here it's a $23, right? So the open quantity should not be twice than my account balance, right? So on the 50 account, it should not be 100K. And here, basically, you cannot count that. Here is not a number which is showing you this thing, right? So if you will have 10 trades open, you need to check how much you are using the quantity, right? I'm personally not opening so many trades at the same time, so I don't have problem with this. But maybe if you do that, maybe I would suggest to have a small Excel sheet, you know, where you put everything you have open, so you don't exceed this thing, right? And that's basically it. This is how simple is this platform, right? And this is basically it, my friends. What I really love on this one is this simplicity, right? You don't need to do any complicated API connection. You don't need to log in with the two-factor verifications, right? You just simply put the link onto which you have in here into your shortcuts, right? And every time when you connect, you just in here, right? Obviously, there is a missing few functions, right? You cannot buy the spot coins which you want to maybe save to your cold wallet, and there is a things for which I will still use the ByBit. But for trading the challenges and the funded accounts, I prefer this one, right? I would say it's everyone's choice, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or which one would you prefer or if you have tested it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.